What's going on, guys? It is Royalty Crypto here and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about why I personally do not believe that a bear market is coming for Bitcoin and crypto. I also wanted to talk about why I personally believe that the 4-year halving cycle is going to be invalidated very soon. If not this year, then definitely within the next couple of years. But yeah, guys, before I get into that, this is a new channel and I would greatly appreciate it if you guys could like and subscribe. All of the support that I've been getting lately has really encouraged me to keep on making videos for you guys, so thank you all for that. But without further ado, let's get right on into this video. So as you can see here, I'm looking at a tweet from one of my favorite crypto influencers, Kyle Chausse. Shout out to him. Liquidity is coming in. Quantitative easing is starting. More rate cuts are coming soon. How in the world are you bearish? Now, I think that all of this information is incredibly important to take into account when you're looking at whether or not a bear market is coming in. A lot of people, especially on social media platforms, are only focused on one thing, and that's the 4-year halving cycle. But guys, the 4-year halving cycle is becoming less and less significant. As you can see here, in 2009 to 2013, we saw our most dramatic 4-year cycle. The reason for that was because the block rewards were so significant back then. But of course, every single cycle, the block rewards are being cut in half, making it less and less significant. As you can see here, the 2013 to 2017 4-year cycle was significantly less dramatic than this cycle here, and so on and so forth. Same with the 2017 to 2021. And so far, that is the case with the 2021 to 2025. Whether you want to believe that this cycle is over or not, it has still become significantly less dramatic than these before. And that is because when you take a look at the halving cuts, because every single 4 years, the block rewards are cut in half for Bitcoin. As you can see here, in 2012, it went from 50 Bitcoin per block, so that's like every 10 minutes or so being mined, to 25. That's massive, especially at that time when the volume on Bitcoin was somewhat low. And as you can see here, it's just been decreasing and decreasing. And we are now currently in 2024, we went from 6.25 per block to 3.12. Now, obviously, anything helps with the price of Bitcoin. I'm not arguing that. But when you think about it, guys, BlackRock has been buying probably like 10 to 20x the amount of Bitcoin than what's being mined almost every single day, at least when we have positive inflow days. So that leads me to believe that there's a good chance that just because people believe a 4-year halving cycle will come true again, doesn't mean that it will. Because this time we have institutions buying heavily into Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana now. So I believe that that demand is going to prevent us from going into a bear market just because of the 4-year cycle. And now another key difference, and this is the real reason why I believe that we aren't going into a bear market, is because of the fact that we are basically at the bottom of a business cycle right now. Not quite at a bottom, but at least a bottom for the US. And as you can see here, this is the M2 money supply. So this is the amount of liquidity throughout every country in the world. And as you know, countries print money, the M2 money supply expands. As you can see here, the bear market really started in November of 2021. Now, I understand that the M2 money supply topped in April of 2022, but smart money started to realize the fact that the Federal Reserve was going to start having to cut rates and likely flip to QT, which is exactly what happened. And as you guys know, the crypto market is a forward-looking market, so it prices these types of scenarios in. So when retail was incredibly excited and euphoric and buying basically anything that they saw on the crypto market, smart money was realizing that the top of the business cycle was almost in and that quantitative tightening would have to start eventually. And that's exactly what happened. And that is the real reason why the bear market of 2021 started. And then as you can see here, quantitative tightening continued until April 2023. When you look at the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin really struggled until about January of 2023. Now, again, the smart money started to predict that the M2 money supply decline was likely going to slow down and start to trend towards the upside again. So again, this is like 3 to 4 months before it actually happened, but they started to price in this fact. Then it actually did happen, and the price of Bitcoin started to go parabolic. So in my opinion, guys, I don't believe the M2 money supply is anywhere close to its top, especially because of the fact that the US has been in quantitative tightening until it hasn't ended yet, but it will be over in just over a month. So in 1 month, guys, or not necessarily 1 month, it really depends on when we officially start quantitative easing, but whenever that does come, this chart is likely going to go parabolic. And there's a very good chance that Bitcoin will have another parabolic run because of that. And I do believe that that is when we will start to see the altcoin season that we've all been looking for. So that is really the number one reason why I believe that we are nowhere near a bear market. Also, another thing, the economy has been in a bit of a rough spot, in my opinion, for the past 2 years or 3 years even. In my day-to-day life, I actually work for a custom home builder, and we've experienced a significant slowing in new work over the past 1 to 2 years. And I know that it's not just us. I mean, it just seems like the overall economy is definitely struggling right now. Not to say that people don't have money, because I understand that there's a lot of somewhat decent earnings on the stock market that we've seen recently, but I do believe that a lot of people are struggling, and I think that that will catch up soon. Now, the good thing is, guys, is we have our federal funds rate at an elevated level right now. So the Federal Reserve actually has ammunition to stimulate this economy. And that's also why I believe that we will be flipping to quantitative easing sometime soon. So I'm not saying that there's not going to be a bear market ever again. Don't get me wrong. I think that we probably will see a bear market maybe late 2026, but I just don't think that it's coming right now. And I think that the Federal Reserve is going to do their absolute best to stimulate this economy. Now, even if Jerome Powell decides to, not stimulate the economy as much as we'd like, it doesn't really matter that much, because his term is over in May of 2026. And we all know, guys, Trump eyes a cabinet member to replace Mr. Too Late Powell at the Fed. Trump has been saying that Powell needs to cut rates significantly for the past year or so. So you know that whoever he decides to pick to replace Jerome in this position is going to be incredibly dovish. When I say dovish, it means that they, are not looking to be slow with the rate cuts and keep quantitative tightening going. No, I believe that he's going to pick somebody that wants to cut these rates incredibly quickly. Now, whether or not you think that's a good thing, Trump definitely has a vested interest in making this economy look as good as possible, especially going into next year, because the midterms are coming up. And of course, he wants Republican people to be elected. And if the economy looks fantastic, then there's a significantly higher likelihood that people are going to vote Republican over Democrat. Now, I'm not trying to get too much into politics, guys. I'm just trying to explain the fact that we have a very bullish outlook in the coming months with the Federal Reserve and their decisions to cut rates and start quantitative easing. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about, just because I understand that this is a crypto channel, is whether or not I think it's a good time to actually be purchasing assets. I do actually think it is a great time to be buying. However, I don't think that you should just go ahead and buy with all the capital that you have. Personally, what I'm doing, guys, is whenever we're in fear on this crypto fear and greed index, I'm buying every week, and I have a set amount that I buy, and I think that you guys should create a set amount that you buy as well. That way, if we do go lower, I can continue to dollar cost average down and lower my average price. And if we don't go lower and we start to, pump back up towards the extreme greed levels, well, then I'm just creating a bigger position for myself. So I think that that is the best way to play the market right now. And I definitely think that you guys should be buying into fear whenever we do get it. Because right now, I do believe that the fear is overblown. I don't really understand why people are so scared. I get that Jerome Powell was a tiny bit hawkish in his last meeting, but he always is, so I'm not really reading too much into that. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the content. I know it was a little bit different today, but nonetheless, I hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday. I'm going to go watch some football personally. Should be a great day. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.